Hi guys, it's Carrie Marie here, and this is my 50th YouTube video. 50 YouTube videos in the last 2 years. It's also special because it's a few days after my birthday. As you can see the balloons back there. I had a really great surprise party thrown for me by some really good friends. I've never had a surprise party in my life, and I was absolutely overwhelmed and overjoyed. It was a wonderful feeling. Today is really special because today I'm going to use my 50th YouTube video to talk to you guys about something that is really important. Not only is it important to me, but it's important to everyone who's ascending. Okay, it's important to our planet. It's important to universal truth. So I've been wanting to make this video for a while, but wait, first let me tell you who this video is for, because if it's not for you, then you don't have to waste any more time. This video is for people who are ascending. These are for people who feel like you're in the middle of a spiritual awakening and you're searching for the truth and you really haven't been able to find the right information that truly resonates with you. Maybe you found some, but you found a lot of confusing information as well, and you're just trying to connect the dots and put all the pieces together, and you just know there's some information perhaps missing. Okay, so this is for you. So before I begin, I would really encourage you to get a piece of paper and a pen so you can write down some of the references I'm going to give you. That way you can look at this on your own and you can do your own research and your own reading, because as always, what I'm trying to do on my channel is to empower you. Excuse me, my dog is doing some weird things on the couch. But my goal is to empower you, to give you the information that you need to help with your spiritual evolution, to help you heal whatever it is that you need. I feel like part of my purpose is to help and to be a messenger. So, without further ado, I want to tell you about a man named Georgi Stankov. Now, his last name is spelled S-T-A-N-K-O-V. I am not sure if that is Stankov or Stankov, okay? I've never met him in person, so I don't know the proper pronunciation. But in my mind, I've always said it as Stankov, okay? Now, Georgi Stankov is a man who has a website. The website is called, so this is where you might want to write this down, Stankov's universallaw.com, okay? So S-T-A-N-K-O-V, comma, S, universal, or sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah, you can put that in if you want. I guess the actual website is Stankov Universal Law Press. Okay. Guys, if my video is kind of getting really light at some points, I do apologize. But I have played with the lighting for like 10 minutes before I started this, and I can't do it anymore. Okay? If I mess with it anymore, I'm not going to be able to get to the meat of the matter. So you can just ignore the picture if that happens and just listen to the information, listen to my voice, okay? Okay, so you can also just type Georgi Stankov into Google if you want. Georgi is like George, but instead of an E, there's an I on the end, okay? He is Bulgarian, I believe. So I discovered Georgi Stankov's website in 2011, okay? Some of you may be familiar with the different portal dates, especially the big ones like the 1010, the 1111, and the 1212. So when I found him in 2011, it was right near a triple 11, okay, an 111111, because it was 2011 and it was near November 11th. Okay, that was a huge shift in the ascension process. And I had been reading other information, okay, just to name a few. There's a website called lightworkers.com. There are some different channelers that I've kept up on through the years. Not so much anymore, but I used to. One of them is Denise LaFay. One of them is Lauren Gorgo. Who else? There's a few others. One of them is Alexandrian Cosmos. There's just been different ones, okay, that I've resonated with to some degree, okay, to some degree. When I found Georgi's website back in 2011, now we're talking 7 years ago, I was overwhelmed with the truth on his website. I knew he was speaking directly to me, okay? It was, I cried the first post I read, because it was like feeling like you're crazy your entire life, and then someone just literally validates everything that you know inside to be true that no one has ever validated for you. That's how strongly I resonated. I immediately began writing to Georgi, overwhelmed at having found his site, and he always wrote back. We've stayed in touch for the last 7 years, and he has published a lot of things that I have written, some in the form of essays, some in the form of poems, some in the form of just comments or blips about the energetic shift I was going through, my personal experience. He used to do this thing called the energy reports of the PAT, okay, capital P-A-T, which stands for Planetary Ascension Team, okay, of which I have come to remember that I am a part of, okay. The PAT is a very small group of beings that incarnate. There's a lot of beings that incarnated here to help with the ascension of Mother Earth, and they all have different roles, and only you can remember what your actual role is, and your memory will be jogged in a number of ways. Most likely, because we live in a society that's very internet based, most likely you will read something that will resonate and awaken the remembering of your true role and your true purpose. It's all really just one role, but within that we're taking on different jobs, okay? So the purpose is to help Gaia, or Mother Earth, ascend to the 5th dimension, because she is ready for ascension. She is an entity, and she has earned her right to ascend. She's leaving behind the 3rd dimensional experience because it involved a lot of abuse and light and darkness and battling and suffering and lack and all kinds of things, okay? It got really to the furthest most point of yucky, bad, evil, whatever you want to say that it could get, and now it is making a turnaround and coming back to the light with those who have also chosen to come home to the light, okay? So when this was decided, a lot of beings volunteered to incarnate. Some beings like myself who were already in higher dimensions, who were not required to come back to a lower dimension, but who did so out of love for Gaia, Earth, out of love for other beings, in this case mostly humans, that many of them were going to have their first ascension ever, so their first opportunity to get into a higher dimensional bandwidth while still in their physical body, okay, which they will be transforming into a light body, and this might be you that I'm talking to. Most likely, if you've listened this long, I want you to really take into consideration that I could be directly talking about you. So I said all that just to say that I knew right away that I was part of this planetary ascension team, because their main job that they signed up to do here was to cleanse a lot of the denser, lower energies from Earth by feeling them through their own physical body and then transmuting them into light or into a higher frequency again. So essentially it's a cleanup job, which it's a very hard job. It's a very, well, if you read Georgie's site, you can really just read through the years the other PAT members, including myself, our personal experience with these energy waves and how they at times incapacitated us, weakened us physically, brought on all kinds of very painful and uncomfortable symptoms that made it very hard to live, quote unquote, a normal human life, okay? And I've said this in my other videos. I think I've even mentioned Georgie in my other videos, but it might have just been a small comment. But there were years where I was basically incapacitated, basically bedridden. There were years where I wasn't able to work a regular job whatsoever, so I would have to live with family members, which was hard. You know, it was a little hard on your dignity because technically there's no diagnosis for what you have because it's beyond medical diagnosis. So in some ways they think like you're making excuses or you're being lazy, but they just don't understand at all what you were going through. And if they did, they wouldn't want it for 5 minutes. So, but the worst is behind us. I definitely still feel some of these energy waves, like the last one we just had, the Lionsgate portal, the 8-8. I made a video about that. It's my video with the lion thumbnail. And the full moon that we just had in August was very, actually all of August was extremely hard for me. I was in bed a lot. I was exhausted. I could just almost do what I had to do, the work that I had to do, taking care of my dogs, making food, going to the store, and then I was home immediately in bed for hours and hours and hours, like basically paralyzed, okay? Because it's like we volunteered to allow our bodies to be the conduit for this energy that comes in through these portals, and we take it on kind of like first. It's like the front line, because for some reason, because of our soul's evolution or status or whatever you want to call it, I don't mean this in an egotistical way. It's just kind of like a fact of science or the universe. When you get to a certain point, your light field is a lot stronger and bigger and is able to contain more of these higher photon light particles and higher frequencies that come in to the earth through these portal dates and the equinoxes and the solstices and the full moons and the eclipses. All of these cosmic alignments allow certain amounts of energy from source or God to come into the earth plane, and they have to come in increments, because if it came in all at once, no one would be able to survive it. It's so powerful. So essentially we kind of water it down by taking it on first through our bodies and assimilating it and going through all of the symptoms associated, almost like a detox. And then we're able to give off a much more palpable version of this energy just by being here, just by walking around the earth, just by interacting with people, simply just by being here, okay? So I want to mention really quick, I want to give this girl a shout out. Georgie posted her on his website, a little video of her, bless her heart. She just started a YouTube channel, and the thing she really wanted to talk about was Georgi Stankov and his Universal Law Press, which I was very impressed by her and also motivated to do this video because it's something I had planned on doing for a while, I planned on kind of breaking down some things on his website and sharing them. But I guess I was just waiting for the right time. I guess I was waiting for to take the temperature of people's consciousness and see, you know, if because this stuff is kind of deep. You know, it's not like the average information you're gonna find on light workers, or even like Love has one. Okay, a lot of these sites, I'm not saying they're bad. They have some actual true information. There are some true channelers, but there are some not true channelers. There's actually, see, that's the thing. I was always so confused because, you know, in my early stages, it's like I kind of was like thinking anything that had to do with Ascension and the light and this and that used certain words was, you know, the truth. But then again, my internal radar system would say, no, what the fuck, this doesn't feel right, you know, this, and some of the messages would actually make me sick. Excuse me. And now I know that like there would be like CIA agents that would employ people to write false articles and pretend to be channelers to confuse people. And I don't know, you know, this is high level stuff. Maybe this is blowing your mind. I don't know. Maybe this is just like old news. But some of it, they can actually, their energy can even affect you through the words. Okay, so, because everything is energy. You have to think everything is energy, whether it's physical or non-physical, really it's all energy. So even what a person writes, and the words that they choose, and the intent behind it can hurt you and harm you if you're not protected. Well, at the time I wasn't protecting myself, my aura, because I wasn't thinking about that. You know, I was just seeking for information. I hadn't fully woken up to who I was. I didn't know my own power at the time, so I was looking for answers, and that's a vulnerable space to be in, because when you don't know your own power, you haven't fully come into it, you are kind of you're open, you know, you could be giving your power away and seeing others as an authority that are not fit or worthy of being an authority. So you have to be careful and always listen to your intuition when you're hearing something, or you're watching somebody, or you're reading information. So I can tell you with my heart and soul 100% that Georgi Stankov and his website is the real deal. Now, some of you, let me just give you a little precursor before you go to his website. Some of you are gonna go, and you have to remember this website's been up for 7 years now, okay? So you're not starting, excuse me, my throat is hurting a little bit. Excuse me. Okay, so you're not starting at the beginning. Okay, this is not like a book and you're starting on chapter 1. You are starting 7 years down the road, okay? So because of that, I'm so sorry, like, this is part of like ascending too, is like I jump around, you know? Because first of all, I said I was gonna I wanna give this girl a shout out, so I'm going to, and I'm also gonna put a link to her latest video in my description box. If you push the arrow down, I will put her name and a link to her video so that you can go to her channel. Please subscribe to her. Looks like she just started. She's a very impressive person from what I can tell. Her energy is very genuine. I don't sense any ego from her. She's very intelligent. She's a young person, and it really gives me hope for these new humans and for the truths that they're grasping. So, okay, her name is capital UV, Indigo. Sorry. You, of course, you know, doesn't this always happen when we're trying to talk about like really pertinent information, right? So anyways, if you're still watching, you're the people who are, you know, hanging in there because you want to know truth, right? Okay. Her channel name is UV Indigo Oracle, okay? And not Oracle like O-R-A-C-L-E, but Oracle like A-U-R-A-C-L-E, UV Indigo Oracle. She's an Arcturian starseed. You don't need to worry about any of that if all that's new to you. That's just, you know, some of us have remembered our kind of our cosmic roots before we came to Earth, and so that's all that's about. It's not really important, as important as the message. So you can go to her YouTube channel and subscribe, watch her videos, so you can kind of piece some of this together. But I just knew when I saw her video that it was the time for me to make this, and it was the time for me to also, you know, excuse me, kind of join forces with her in a way, and validate what she is saying. And so maybe we're starting to make these connections so that we can grow this web of truth, okay, of real truth, because now it's time for the real truth. And if you're, like she said, she's a very scientific minded person. She used to want to be a scientist, so she really gravitates towards his scientific works, which he has tons. So when you go to his website, you're gonna see on the left hand side, you look down and you will see all his like volumes of work, okay, like the universal law in physics and mathematics, the universal law in physics and cosmology, the general theory of biological regulation in bioscience and medicine, okay? This is high level stuff, because a lot of what we've been taught is wrong. It's flawed because it was taught by not very evolved people. And a lot of it was taught with a kind of an intention to keep humanity in the dark, okay? To dumb them down, okay? To keep them under the control of the powers that were, okay? But this is the new, it's not new, this is universal truth, but this is the new to earth truth, okay, that's going to be taught, that's going to be, broken down for us and adopted as the new laws and the new truth, and it's going to make a lot of things make sense finally for planet Earth. So this is like the new education. Now, let me just say, have I read everything on his site? No, I have not. I've read a lot of what is on his site. Oh, sorry, she's like talking. I can hear her. Let me just pause this video real quick. Okay. Oh, there's another window. All right. Oh, where are you, girl? Oh my God, what is happening? Let's just, okay. Okay, so, oh, sorry. Oh my goodness. Bear with me, y'all. I don't even know. Okay, I can just, let me just mute it. Okay. So, I am not a huge scientific person. I don't, that's not my just burning passion, okay? So when I read some of his scientific works, for me, it's more like, I don't even know how to explain this other than it just is a part of me. Like, I don't question it because I know it's true, because truth is something beyond words. It's something you can feel. It's something that your soul says yes. It's something internal that says this is absolute truth, okay? That's how I feel when I read Georgi's works. So I don't like break every single thing down. I mean, partly because most of my life has been about surviving these energies, you know? So I have only so much energy when I'm awake, and I'm looking for the things that I need at the moment, you know? And, you know, in some ways I feel, I feel a little guilt, I guess, about that, because I would love to like read every single word, and maybe perhaps I will. But there are things that he has written that I personally resonate with more, okay? And that is his medical knowledge, his health knowledge, because as you can see on my channel, I talk a lot about natural cures and how to cure yourself naturally, and how to get away from the pharmaceutical and the medical industries. And that's where my heart is. That's where one of my strongest passions is. So when he writes things like, and this is so cool because with UV Indigo girl, she loves the scientific part, and so she's going to be able to talk about that with you guys. It looks like she might be going into different volumes of his work and translating that for you, and I'm excited to hear that from her, because I don't know if I could explain it. I know I couldn't explain it as well, but I would like to break down some of his medical information, like such as the light body process and why the LBP, which is the light body process, how that cannot be correctly diagnosed by medical doctors. That's why we've got people that they're diagnosing with chronic fatigue syndrome, okay, and they're giving them meds when really they're just going through Ascension and they're transforming into the light body, and that's extremely taxing. But you know, if they don't know that, then they're going to take these medications, and consequently, like Georgie said, all allopathic pharmaceuticals are cell inhibiting. Okay, cell inhibiting. It says like right there on the packages or in the fine print on the commercials. So it actually slows down your transition. And in some cases, I think it actually stops people from ascending, or it even de-evolves them. Do you know anyone who was like a different person before they got on a certain prescription med? I do. I know a lot. I know a lot of people. And it's like the lights aren't even on anymore. So you really should read some of his works about that. He has some great stuff. I mean, amazing, mind-blowing. He has stuff about how the world's economy has to collapse, okay, because it's not based on truth. It's not based on abundance for all, okay? It's based on control and hoarding and lack and greed, and it's everything that's wrong. There's so many things that are ass backwards and corrupt because of the economy. Therefore, we have to have a new economy on the new earth. Okay, so he goes into that. It's amazing. And I also want to say that he has published me quite a few times throughout the years. Whether, like I said, whether it was a poem I wrote or an essay I wrote or one of my energy reports that I wrote. He has a search bar on the left-hand side. There's a bar right on like the top left. And if you just type in my name, Kari, K-A-R-I, you will find some stuff by me. He also has coined me as Kari the Sunshine Girl. So if you write in Kari the Sunshine Girl, K-A-R-I again, you will find, I think there's a couple other different ones come up. And so, and I don't want to say my last name on this video, but I think that it shows up in some of the essays or whatever. So anyhow, I hope that you will give it an honest look. Some of the new articles are written in various languages. I think Georgie knows like multiple languages. Plus this website is universal, so he has readers from all over the world. So he has translated a few articles into different languages for them, which I think is amazing, and also shows the purity, the truth of this website, that it would be able to be translated. And guys, this website was taken down a few times. We had so many attacks on this website, and the truth, that's how you know something's true, when it gets attacked like that. It's not a popular website, you know. Georgi is not a popular person, I wouldn't say, even though he's brilliant and he's one of the most evolved beings on the planet, and he is speaking absolute truth. He, you know, the truth, you have to remember, the truth has been attacked for eons on this planet. I mean, look at Jesus. Look at any great leader, okay? Like Martin Luther King, you know, all these people, for speaking the truth, they were persecuted, they were ostracized. It's no different with Georgi. He is an older man at this point, but back in his career, I believe, I mean, I think he's a scientist, he's got a medical doctorate. A lot of his works were completely rejected by people in his field, okay? He has never sold out. He has never sold out. I mean, this man could probably use his knowledge for all kinds of things that would make him a millionaire, but that would not be good for humanity, and he has refused. I think he lives largely on donations, so if you feel the urge, there's a donation button on his website at the top. I think you can use PayPal, okay? It does go to his partner, Carla. I mean, it goes to both of them, but if you see her name on the, you know, the email address when you go to PayPal, Carla, just know that that is his partner. They do live together and they work together on the site, and they do light work, energy work together for humanity, so it's fine. I would strongly encourage you that if his website touches you or sheds some light on something for you, that you show some sort of appreciation, whether it's $5, you know. I know they would really appreciate it. And so this person, Georgi, he's my friend. You know, I've corresponded with him so many times throughout this last 7 years, going through very hard times, and some good times. And like I said, we've never met in person, but he's very dear to my heart, and he's my friend. And to me, he's incorruptible. And that is not something you can say about very many people here, is it? So there you go. Yeah, this is my highest recommendation of where I can tell you to go to find truth. I'm gonna make another video about the false prophets that are out there, especially on the YouTube, in the YouTube world, okay? And how to kind of spot some of them. This has been laid on me to do this. I'm not gonna say specific names, but I want to give you some ways of identifying false prophets, okay? So I'm still working on that. But for now, I just had to get that out. I'll go into more of his works as I am inspired to do so. And check out UV Indigo Oracle's website. Again, I'll put a link to her video in my description box. And if you're going to watch her stuff, please subscribe to her. Okay, we gotta get the true people out there. We gotta get their messages out there. And if you think anyone could benefit from this video, please share it with them. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I really hope that I can earn your subscription. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Thank you guys. Blessings.